Coach Deborah has a passion and purpose to assist young men, ages 15 to 24, to overcome obstacles and build their best lives. She wants to see every young man live out their potential. She has a master's degree in human services counseling, with a major in life coaching. More importantly, she is the mother of 3 boys, who are exceptional, educated, professional men. Coach Deborah believes it is better to train early, rather than need to fix later. She utilizes basic principles and God-led concepts. Sometimes the only thing a young man has is their credibility or their name. The actions they take are based on the decisions they make. Those decisions align with their choices and result in consequences. Coach Deborah can assist you if you are lost, floundering, or confused. Embrace the help and start building your best life today.
Good evening and happy Tuesday. Welcome to Build Your Best Life. I am so excited to have you here today because I know many of you are out and about, and the doorbell will be constantly ringing as little ones come to your door. So taking the time to tune in is exceptionally appreciated today. And thank you so much, Brittany, for taking your time to be here. How are you?
Sure. Thanks for having me. I'm doing great. How are you today?
I'm doing wonderful, wonderful. Well, you know, it's all about reach this year here on Build Your Best Life. And during the month of October, and this is our last session, it's all about reaching out for goals, reaching out for the goal. So we're excited to have another topic about that on this evening. But before we get started, we definitely want to hear about Brittany, what she loves to do, what's exciting to her, and anything she would love to tell us. I do know that she is very, very passionate about community, but we want to hear what Brittany has to say.
Yes, that's right. I am a single mom. I have a 3-year-old son, and I work in children's ministry, and I have in the past done several mission trips. I'm working on getting back into that. And I also am involved in the community through animal rescue work.
Awesome. So we're definitely glad to have you because Brittany, as you know, here on Build Your Best Life, I'm just passionate about assisting others, but my niche is young men, teenagers through young adults, as well as mothers with sons. So we are super excited to have you on here today. Can't thank you enough.
Sure. Thanks for having me.
Yes. So before we get started again, everybody make sure that you like, comment, and share. And please like my Build Your Best Life page so that I can see your comments and know that you are here. Because if you're just on my personal Facebook page, then I cannot see your name. I know that you're here. And I want to make sure that I can applaud everyone and appreciate everyone for getting on as well. Please subscribe to my YouTube Build Your Best Life page. It's Build Your Best Life with Deborah D. Smith. So today, Brittany and I are going to be talking about drive. All right. Now, we know that there are slow, speeding, reckless, inexperienced, and some careless drivers. Everybody hates rubberneckers, but chances are we also slow down when we see people pulled over by law enforcement, see that accident or whatever. We slow down as well. But think about it. If you drive slowly, you're a safe driver. You complain about the speeders, right? But if you speed, then what do? You complain about those that drive at a snail's pace. Driving is a skill. Consequently, people have different skills, regardless of what they're doing. So as well as in driving, different skills. Brittany, do you have poor, fair, or outstanding driving skills? Are you the slow, cautious driver or the speeder, always in a hurry?
Well, I wouldn't say that I am a speeder. I tend to go with the flow of traffic. I would say that I'm not one of those that stops to look at the accidents, because we seem to have a lot of accidents in our area. And in fact, my son often, if he thinks I'm going too fast, he will say, "Mom, you're going too fast." He's definitely a backseat driver, even at 3 years old.
Wow. I guess that could be good and maybe not so good. But at least
Yeah,
we know he's got attention.
Yeah, when I was in high school, I took a defensive driving course because I used to be one of the very slow and cautious drivers. And my parents had me take a defensive driving course. So now I tend to keep up with the speed of traffic. And driving too fast does kind of scare me. So I try not to do that very often.
I'm not like that as well. Well, let's kind of change gears a little bit, moving to drive as in what we're going to talk about today. Now, in the movie Drive, Driver was a fantastic stuntman, also a driver, but he was moonlighting as a getaway driver. And he was totally dynamic in that. So he had these skills, but he was using them for something that was not so good. It's one thing to use your skills for a greater purpose versus taking those skills to harm others or perform fraudulent activities. Driver saw nothing wrong with his undercover activities until someone came into his life that he cared about. So, Brittany, has there been a time in your life when you switched gears because your reason for being changed?
Yes. In fact, when I had my son, I switched gears. I previously was more heavy-handed in animal rescue than I am now. I fostered a lot more. I was out at all hours of the day and night. But I can't do that anymore with a toddler who needs a schedule and a routine, which he actually helped me develop a stronger schedule and routine because I needed to do it for him.
That's good. So I guess that was, well, I wouldn't say it's necessarily that you were doing anything risky, but you were doing something that was worthwhile, but still something in your life made you switch gears.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So what 3 significant actions or principles people typically follow, you think, when driven to succeed in their goals?
I think one thing is when you're trying to succeed in your goals, you're trying to be proactive and focus and act on what you can control and influence instead of what you can't, which is often very hard for us to do because we want to control everything in a lot of situations. And it's very hard to switch gears and to focus on controlling what you know that you can control when you wake up in the morning, when you go to bed, and those kinds of things. And then I would say a second one would be to begin with the end in mind, defining clear measures of success and a plan to achieve them. Because if you really want to succeed in your goals or what your purpose is, you need to have a vision and a purpose, or a vision and a plan to fulfill your purpose. And it's hard to do that if you're just out there,
Right.
going in all different directions, grasping at straws. And then I would say a third one would be to put first things first, prioritize and achieve your most important goals instead of constantly reacting to urgencies. I think it's very difficult for us to not have that fight or flight response when something urgent comes up and you want to take care of that first. But if you focus on consistency and putting the right things first, then it's a lot easier to succeed than if you're just reacting to life as it happens to you.
Okay. Those are three very, very good ones. Is there any one in particular that you think you have more drive behind that pushes you to follow those?
I think that I probably have more drive behind being proactive. I try to anticipate and focus on my day-to-day activities and routines and habits, and that helps me fuel the other two.
Okay, that's good. I like that. Yes, and I know being a young mother of a toddler, that probably keeps you pretty busy. And do you find now that you have to push yourself more to, so you're saying being proactive and getting in front of things. So do you do that now more so than you did before?
Yes, I do, especially in some things. I'm more proactive in like meals that I plan and those kinds of things, but also looking towards the future and trips or work or those, speaking events, those kinds of things that I'm thinking about doing. I have to make sure that I am thinking with him in mind, because I can't just plan those things and well, whatever happens to him happens.
Right.
I have to make sure I have a plan for him while I'm also planning those things.
That's great. Thank you so much.
Sure.
If you're just tuning in, my special guest today is Brittany Clark from Huntsville, Alabama. And our topic today is drive. And we're talking about, putting that drive behind those actions and things that you do in life. We have different goals that we put in place to be successful. But it's also important that we have some drive as far as what we do to make sure that we get those things done, those goals met. So, I mentioned before that people are different. They have various pursuits and don't have the same expectations in life. One person's happiness may simply be another person's turnoff. Like, why do we like doing that? Parents are a vital component in seeing their sons successfully reach independence. Please tell us about a driving principle that substantially changed after you became a mom.
I would say that something that has really changed since I became a mom, and I'm still evolving, is I used to be a lot more on the go. Before I had my son, I found more purpose in helping others than I did in doing things for myself. So I spent a lot of times trying to do things for others, or trying to help others just to be seen. And then he came along, and that kind of rocked my world because I didn't have any consistency in my schedule. And so one of the major things that was a very hard change for me, because I've always been around kids, being around one that was mine was not so difficult for me, but was developing a consistency in my schedule and my habits and routines because I needed to do that for him.
That's good. Well, did you find yourself losing any friends or associates based on your routine changing? Did you find some people felt some type way that you now didn't have as much time for them, that you had to devote your time to your son?
Yes, I did. And I found out easily and early on who my friends actually were. Because a lot of people act like friends or pose as friends when they're asking you for help or asking you to do something for them. But the second that you can't do it because you have a child or you have something else that you need to do for yourself, the story changes a bit, and they're not as interested in being friends with you if you're not there to actually do what they want you to do.
Yes.
The circle became very small.
There's much, much smaller, right?
Yes.
Yes, we here at Build Your Best Life. Of course, that is one of our building materials, is to be very, very careful of those that you have around you. So I didn't want to kind of push that answer, but I felt that was going to be your response. But it's amazing how people will switch as long as you're there for them, and they can get benefit. They're 100, but you soon find out really those people that you should have weeded out a while ago. So this is a way, maybe the God that fixes it to weed those people out.
Absolutely. And it's also kind of good in a way, because probably most of those people that were in your circle before are not as good of an influence, and you don't want your child growing up around them. So
right. Yeah,
it works out.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Well, I believe it is better to train early rather than to fix later, Brittany. So what is the best way for parents and our guardians to start teaching their children principles early in life that will assist them in building their best lives?
I think that one of the strongest principles that we have established for my son is communication, but we do that through effective co-parenting. So even though he visits two separate households and he spends time in two separate households, we communicate and we stay on the same page as far as discipline and electronics and those kinds of things. But we're also effective in the way that we communicate about each other and the way that we communicate to him, because we want him to grow up knowing that, a lot of, especially boys, a lot of things that people have taught men or boys is that men don't cry or boys don't cry. So we are trying our best to teach him that it's okay if he cries. And especially at this age, he doesn't know how to communicate other than to cry or to whine. And so we're trying to teach him that those things are okay, but he's also learning how to communicate his feelings. And we want him to feel secure and comfortable to talk to us about those things as he grows up, and to also know that it's okay to how to effectively voice those to people around him. Instead of being one of those that bottles everything in and then has trouble as an adult. Because I think one thing that we can all benefit from is knowing how to effectively communicate, especially as an adult.
Yes, that's good.
If there's one course I wish they taught in middle or high school, it would be communication, because Oh, hold on.
Yes, communication is so important. We talk about that here all the time. So it's vitally important. And Brittany, I think she's stating about being in school and learning that, because that is, I think, one of the reasons why we have so many difficulties and things going on negatively in the world, because lack of communication. So I'm pretty sure, she's getting ready to tell us about that in school. Go ahead, Brittany.
I'm so sorry.
Oh,
Yes. I wish that there was a communication course so that young people knew how to effectively communicate their feelings and just communicate in general as they grow up, because that's where a lot of problems are found. And one tiny miscommunication of something, and that's how a whole event went wrong.
right. That's so true. Because, just like you said, a lot of times people are not really listening while you're trying to communicate. So they're not communicating really. And then you get on social media, and through the texts or emails, you can misconcept something that, just get it all out of proportion. And then that causes friction. So that is an essential principle that has gotten missed early on. I agree with you.
Yes.
Okay, is there anything else that you could think of that would assist?
I think that there are a lot of ways that we could utilize some things that are taught in school to help our children with their principles. But I think one thing is, regardless of what your principles are, is that you try to teach them to your children early on, so that they, it's not like they go through their early ages, newborn to 4 years old, and they're just happy and living life. And then all of a sudden there's rules and things that you're trying to teach them all at once.
Mm-hmm.
Because, if they grow up with that foundation, then it's not a hard adjustment for them. And I think a lot of children struggle with change because, they hit a certain age and we're like, oh, they're old enough to do this, this, and this. And we just hit it with them all at once.
Right. Yes. And that can be overwhelming for a lot of them.
Yes. Very overwhelming.
Yes. Well, I think those are some great tips that you have given to start early with those basic principles, because again, here on Build Your Best Life, we talk about those basic principles because basic principles don't change. So it is wonderful to start early, because those are something that's going to last their entire lifetime. So getting it early, getting it ingrained in them, then it's beneficial.
Absolutely.
Yes. So, Brittany, this has been great talking about drive and, why we do what we do and how we do it. Is there anything else that you would like to add concerning our topic today? Any closing remarks that you would want to provide?
I think that as far as drive, and especially with our children and young boys, an important thing is to fuel their passions as they develop them as they grow up, and helping them figure out what they want to do and be outside of school, because that's not something that they naturally are learning in school. They're learning the test, and we really want them to learn their purpose in life. And I think fueling their passions as they grow can really help with that.
Great. Well, thank you so much for that. We are so happy to have you on here today, and Brittany is going to come back on next month. We're going to have another great topic, so get ready for that. And next month is, tomorrow is a different month.
Yeah.
And yeah, so we are going to be reaching out to express gratitude all during the month of November. So I always get excited about that because we have so much that we can be grateful for. And so we're going to be talking about that the entire month as well. Our Grateful Conference, and this will be the 4th annual Grateful Conference. It begins November 13th, that's Monday, and runs through Thursday, November 16th. We have some exciting speakers that will be on. We have Anita Cummings from Thompson, Georgia. She will be our speaker on Monday the 13th. On Tuesday the 14th, we have Jocelyn Charles from Dallas, Texas. On Wednesday, we have Minister Kara Crockett from Dallas, Texas. And then closing us out on Thursday, November 16th, our own Coach Ricardo Miller will be closing us out. So I'm excited to hear all the good topics that they will be speaking on during that conference. But if you would visit my website, which is www.buildyourbestlife.org, that's www.buildyourbestlife.org. You can visit my calendar of events, and if it's a certain night that you're available, you can look and see who's available, who will be speaking on that night. And of course, you can always catch us after the live. The videos never come down, so you can see them on Facebook or YouTube after they broadcast live. You can also read my blog that comes out each Monday at 10 a.m. We have a fresh topic every Monday as well. You can see the services that I offer, which is I am a life coach. So I have coaching, consultation, speaking, webinar speaking. And I wrote a book, Build Your Best Life, which is about your life, your actions, and your credibility, overcoming obstacles to build your best life. And you can get your autographed copy if you go on my website, order your book, ship it out to you quickly. If you prefer the Kindle version, you can go on Amazon.com and get your Kindle version. But thank you, and please join us Thursday, November 2nd, for Thursday Live with Coach Deborah. We will be here. And again, we have a new theme, which is reaching out for gratitude. And Brittany, again, is there anything that you thought of that you want to tell us about yourself, or your Facebook page, or anything you want us to know?
I do have a Facebook page. You can add me or follow me there. And I'm just going through a process of discovering my purpose and fueling my passion.
Awesome. And she has drive. I can see it already.
Thank you.
Yeah, so thank y'all all so much for tuning in. Don't forget, as you go along your busy day, you may encounter a young man that has lost his way. Don't shake your head. Don't steady your pace. Stop and reach out and give that young man a helping hand. If we all reach out, just think about how many more young men that we can help. And remember, building your best life is our business. That's not a slogan. It's our commitment. I love you. Be blessed. Stay safe. Again, thank you so much, Brittany, and we will see you next month. Bye-bye.
Thank you.